This is Jeff with Shout Out Minnesota, and we are here with
BUBBA SPARXXX, baby.
And welcome back to Minnesota.
I'm happy to be in Minnesota, but I'm a little distraught because I was under the impression that somebody was going to turn the freaking heat on before I got here. And apparently they didn't, because I think the high today was -9, and I think right about now it's like -16, and that's no wind chill, that's actual temperature.
Now, when you came here in October, it was a little bit warmer.
Yeah, it was like 70 degrees then. I mean, I think it was actually like 50, but still nothing like it is now. But it just shows you my devotion to my fans. I had to come in here and see my fans in Minnesota. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
But we had a great time.
So, a couple things. One thing is I wanted to get back to how you got into business, how you came in.
Well, I mean, basically, I was writing raps around my hometown in LaGrange, Georgia. Not really. Obviously, there were no outlets for hip hop in 1992, 93, 94, 95 in LaGrange, Georgia. So it was much more of an introverted thing. I was writing raps. And then my best friend, Stephen Hernan, got a scholarship to the University of Georgia to play football. And I went up there kind of just following him to hang out. Started making some connections there. Bobby Stant was my manager, Shannon Houchins, whose production company I ended up signing to. Met the guy that turned into Colt Ford. Met a lot of people in Athens. Dirty Kim from Low Down and Dirty. I mean, a lot of people I met, and then those events ended up turning into me becoming, or ended up getting signed with Interscope Records and Beat Club, which was Timberland, Tim Mosley's label. So it was a crazy journey.
So one thing I wanted to ask you is, you're saying that your introduction in hip hop pretty much revolved around Two Live Crew. Is that true?
I would say that. I mean, I'd say that was one of the first groups I ever heard was Two Live Crew. I'd say the first rap record I probably ever heard was a Houdini record, The Freaks Come Out at Night or something like that.
Yeah, that's old.
But then I also heard the first Beastie Boys album with Brass Bucky and Paul Revere, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, License to Ill. It did Run DMC, Wasn't Too Far Behind, and then, and then just being from the South, I mean, Two Live Crew, somebody say, hey, we want some, That was one of the first records I heard.
Now, here's something you may not know. You did the Zombie Pub Crawl in October.
I did.
2 years prior to that, Two Live Crew was here.
Yeah, I mean, and I've never actually had a chance to meet those guys. I met Uncle Luke, but I never had a chance to meet Marquise or the Chinaman, but yeah, I mean, Two Live Crew, that's synonymous with down south, Booty Shake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was putting on for Miami. They had the Miami starter jackets in the late 80s. I mean, ask Rick Ross about it. The Two Live Crew, man. They put on for Miami. They put on for the South, man. So much love. The country.
But now, here tonight, we're at, it's New Year's, well, now it's New Year's Day at Neeson's. So, came up all the way from Georgia. 50-degree temperature swing to come out here and party with it.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, about 50-degree temperature swing. I mean, I'd say the high in Georgia is probably mid-40s right now. You know what I'm saying? And up here, the high is like -12. So yeah, that was quite a swing. But the people here at Neeson's in Savage, Minnesota, made a nice deal with me to where I could make a good bit of money for New Year's. So I'm grateful for that. So sometimes, work. Even though the actual event here is fun, traveling to these Arctic temperatures wasn't necessarily fun, but that's how work goes sometimes. It is work for me. And if you're an aspiring rapper or a musician, period, you need to understand that sometimes it's going to be work. You know what I'm saying? It's, everything, they don't give away money, so you're going to have to work for money. And work is when you define, to me at least, when you have to do things you don't necessarily want to do. That's what work is. Exactly. If you love doing it, so whatever it is you love doing, that's not work. You're just blessed and you get money doing what you love. But sometimes you're going to have to do something that you don't love. You know what I'm saying? Because that's work. That's how work goes.
So speaking of work, put some work in a new album coming out.
Pain Management came out
in October. Yep, in October.
Debuted number 32 on the Billboard charts. Blessed, hadn't put out an album in 7 years. Shout out to Average Joe's Entertainment, based out of Nashville. Colt Ford, The Lax, Low Cash Cowboys, a lot of people, Lenny Cooper. The country rap music that I actually started back in 2001 has blossomed and bloomed into this full-fledged deal going on, and Average Joe's and those artists I named are at the forefront of that. And I sold like 2,300 records the first week, and debuted in the Billboard Top 200 overall. on the country and rap charts, debuted in the top 40, you know, which was a blessing, man. You know, and I've sold like 14,000 albums so far, you know, in 2 months, you know. So independent, you know, back in the day, I mean, when my first album came out, Dark Days, Bright Nights, I sold 180,000 the first week, you know, but I was on Interscope and I got so much or less a piece of the pie. So for me to have in 2 months sold 14,000 albums, I mean, you know, I've already made back the money we spent on the project, and I'm already in the black as far as money I'm getting, you know. And I think we're probably gonna sell 50, 60,000 albums, and that's the neat thing about being independent, you know. So I think we're gonna do real well.
Good.
Be on the lookout. Obviously, we have the country folks video, song and video out, single available. With me, Colt Ford, and Danny Boone from Rehab. If you hadn't, over 1 million views in 4 months. If you hadn't seen that, check that out. Splinter, me and Crucifix, great record, man. If you wondered what happened to Bubba Sparxxx, where I'd been for the last 6, 7 years, this is a song to explain all that to you. With my dog Crucifix, and that video's like 500,000 views. You know, Bangin', me and my buddy Dan Rocket, who produced like half of the new album, Pain Management, with me. This is kind of he and I's moment together, Bangin'. We filmed this video out in the Los Angeles desert. Bubba Sparxxx is back, you know, literally. I didn't put out a video for, like I said, I mean, 4 or 5 years, I mean, for sure, and an album for 7 years. But I'm back, I'm happy, I'm making the music that I love, going back. If you loved Bubba Sparxxx, The Deliverance, Bubba Sparxxx, country, white boy rapping, staying in touch with his roots, that's what I'm back to doing. And I got a video that we shot in November to the song that's on my album called Right, featuring the country artist Rodney Atkins, and it's coming out the last week of January, and I'm expecting this to be the biggest song I've had since Miss New Booty, so probably bigger than that.
That's what's really unique about you, is you can mix a lot of genres of music in your music, and it's come out really well. I got to listen to a few tracks off your album and stuff, and it came out really well.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder why it's doing so well so far.
Well, you know, it was crazy because early on in my career, like, the only ways that you had to reach fans were radio and TV. You know, you didn't have the internet, YouTube, social media, all that stuff. So it's like, even though I knew the people I wanted to reach, me being a country white boy who loved hip hop, you know what I'm saying? I grew up hanging out with buddies that rode around in jacked up trucks and had Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw CDs and Outkast and Tupac CDs in their truck. I knew that's the people I was trying to reach, you know, on both sides, whether it be black folks, white folks, Mexicans, Asians, whatever, or on all 4 sides, rather. But, you know, I knew that's who I wanted to reach, but you had to kind of tailor it back in those days to make sure, because you couldn't reach anybody if you didn't make it so that MTV or BET or CMT would play it and the radio would play it. You know, and these days you don't necessarily have to do that. You can get straight to those people via social media and YouTube, and you know, and so on and so forth. So
absolutely,
it's exciting time. It's an exciting time to be an original artist. You can do what you want to do, and if people gravitate towards it, then they'll find you.
I hear that. Well, I thank you for your time, and
can I promote a couple things?
Oh yeah. Tell them how they can get a hold of you. How do you get in contact?
Well, you know, my Facebook is Bubba Sparxxx Music. My Twitter is @TheRealBubbaK, @TheRealBubbaK. My website is Bubba Sparxxx. Bubba Sparxxx is spelled, for those of you that don't know, BUBBASPARXXX, 3 X's at the end. BubbaSparxxx.com. Also, let's see here.
Twitter.
I said Twitter @TheRealBubbaK, TheRealBubbaK. Bubba Sparxxx Music's Facebook. The Instagram is @Bubba Sparxxx. The new album, Pain Management, in stores, available. You know, at Walmart's heavy, at Best Buy's heavy, some Targets. I'm independent now, so it's kind of selective, but definitely available at all digital outlets. You know, iTunes, Google Play, whatever. And then be on the lookout. In February, I have a group project, Eye for an Eye. Shout out to Stump Diddy and David Ray. Be on the lookout for that album, Country Boy City Slick, coming out in February. The next Bubba Sparxxx album coming out through New South, Average Joe's /E1 Music, which used to be Koch. That album's called Made on McCosh Mill Road. That'll be coming out in May. And then I have a special treat coming for all the country rap fans. Me and the Georgia Boys D Thrash. Shout out to D Thrash. We're going on tour and putting out a project that Bubba SPARXXX and the Georgia Boys, a project coming out in the spring also. So a lot of stuff going on.
There you go, Bubba SPARXXX fans. You and Hal have been informed, and we thank you for your time. One last shout out to the fans, Bubba SPARXXX fans of Minnesota.
Hey, much love. I love the fans, man. Thank you, God. Thank you, y'all. Woo!